fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264, VOP TV, Voice of the People Television. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions
Welcome to Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. Today is Saturday and it's another 19th day in the month of July 2025. I am Fina Okechukwu, and on the show today we have a quite interesting lineup for us, and one of the topic of conversation we'll be exploring today is about what the PDP national chair is saying about someone, a particular individual in Nigeria, Peter Gregory, being a great asset to the party, and the fact that PDP actually is working on bringing P2P back to that party. We'll x-ray this during the course of the program. Do well to stay with us.
I am Jerry Abdullahi, saying welcome to the Morning Buzz. 66% of inmates in Nigeria's prisons awaiting trial. That's above half. Talking about more than those people in prison. You might be having a lot of innocent people all locked up in the Nigerian prisons.
All right, those actually are the major topic of conversation. We're talking about innocent people. I believe you've been able to get to police stations sometimes to hear that I came here to check on my friend who told us or who said he or she have been arrested, and boom, you become an accomplice. But anyway, we'll dissect that during the course of the program. Those actually are the major topic of conversation, but we have other interesting trending stories. But before we proceed, we urge you to kindly click on the subscription button if you've not done that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. And on all other social media platforms, the X.com, the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, we are VOP TV Live. Also visit our website at www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. As Voice of the People, with us, you have more than a voice. So we have a number you'll see on your screen scrolling. Just do make good use of that number. Call in during this program and subsequent one, and you can also send us, a 1-minute video of yourself via WhatsApp reacting to any of the topic of conversation. The number is 0904 473 2605. And talking about other interesting stories, it's no longer new, how some governors have come up to tell a particular man, Peter Gregory, that, he should not get to their state without a prior notice. First it was Hassan Talia of Benue State when there was a killing. He decided to go meet the people in the IDPs, and, he tried all he could, following the protocols to make sure he got to that IDP camp in Benue to at least be with the people, commiserate to the people, who have been sacked from their ancestral home, now living in internally displaced persons camp. And Hassan said, no, you don't do that. You don't come here. You don't politicize whatever thing is that is happening. And just yesterday, Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo issued a stern warning to former Anambra State Governor and Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, stating that his security is not guaranteed in Edo if he visits without prior notice. Speaking in Uromi during the defection of Honorable Marcus Onobon from PDP to APC, Okpebholo said Obi must inform him before entering the state, referencing a past visit where Obi donated 15 million naira to the people, and after which violence reportedly erupted, leading to death. Interesting point he actually raised, saying that before Peter Obi, but one thing I want to know, Jerry, is this particular order, this stern warning being issued by your governor, the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, at this point in time, is it for all, sundry? Is it for everyone? Are we just seeing this being limited to Peter Obi? Over the fact that some persons are saying that this man is more like a moving force, the fact that anywhere he gets to, boom, people will be there. He's just there to gather people to himself. Him alone is a force. Him alone is, is an entity that commands respect. I don't know. I'm just saying what people are saying.
I think I'm not really comfortable calling him my governor because I was not in Edo State in the last election, and if I had voted, I know who.
He's your governor. Supreme Court says he's your governor. That's
he's the governor of Edo State, not governor of Jerry's Edo State. But it's rather unfortunate that governors, because they are an opposition party have decided to go into politicking when they're supposed to go into governance and things that matter. I think I'm really worried that those in the circle of power, the elites, for instance, who are in the political scene, are taking Nigerians for granted. There's a time it will become a limit. No matter how elastic a handband is, they will get a period where it will cut off and pull off, and at the end of the day, it might result to anarchy. I'm really worried that we might get to a state where people will not be able to take it anymore. It will result to anarchy. And I think Okpebolo should mind the business of governance and stay away from politics. He failed woefully during the campaign process, and he should mind governance, speak less, and do more. I think he has been doing that, and he has been successful with that. But now he has gone back to talking now, which he did not do very well.
Well, from what he's saying here, he said that Obi once donated 15 million naira to the people of Edo State. And before you know what is happening, according to what he said violence reportedly erupted.
Which
and
violence?
Then that particular violence led to loss of life.
Let me now tell you,
he's trying to pretend?
Currently there's court war in Benin City, which is the capital of Edo State.
Okay.
And these guys have been counting scores and killing themselves. What has the governor done about that? Is it Peter Obi that started the court war?
But I guess the other time we saw it on the news that Monday Babolo actually was trying to clamp down on court testing in Edo State.
Yeah, people are still dying. People are still dying. The thing is that our leaders have found a way to see people, their citizens dying as a norm. They no longer take it seriously. Even if in America maybe there's a gang war, for instance. I'm not sure it will last this long. This thing has been on for close to 2-3 months. And still yet, these guys are still doing it, and they are posting on social media, counting scores and talking about it boldly, and they are not scared because they know that those who are in power don't know what to do about it. It's pretty sad. Is it right now, even my local government, kidnapping has started all over again? Yeah, I can say the commissioner tried the other time, but now kidnapping has resurfaced again. People are being kidnapped, and even a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old was involved in the kidnapping and was killed. What has he done? I expect him to go there and be making such announcement on how he's going to clamp down on courtism and kidnapping.
At this point in time, don't you think that this actually speaks to what he was trying to prevent Peter Obi from, maybe becoming a victim of? He said his security is not guaranteed.
As Peter, his security is not guaranteed. As Peter complained to him that when I came to Edo State, that people were chasing me.
Well, isn't that an indictment on its own? Jerry, but if...
I would even say...
Exactly. Let's look at it
that somebody in your state is not safe, and you are proud to say it.
With security votes that, the governors will take every
month. You're a governor. I think these guys, they don't even... Anyway, I know he's a messenger. Somebody sent him this message, and he didn't deliver well. He failed in flying colors.
Talking about messenger at this point in time, we learned that maybe in no distant time, there might be internal wrangling in the party over the fact that we have two big political elites, seeking the control of Edo State. One actually happens to be the former governor of the state. The other one now happens to be a sitting minister. These are two big wigs. They are more like looking for a way to lay hands on the activities in Edo State. Now, if that actually to happen, what do you think will become? I'm talking about the autonomous nature now, the sovereign nature of the executive governor of Edo State. Like you pointed out, he said he failed woefully during the primaries, yet he is still the governor of Edo State. So what is going to... I'm so concerned about you this morning. I'm so concerned because this is your state you're looking at.
The thing is that Edo State is quite a peculiar state.
Okay.
In a sense, I understand why, for instance, they are trying to scare Obi from Edo State. Because if you take a look at Edo State, he had massive support. Massive, when I mean massive, they openly came out. It was not hidden. Edo people declared Peter Obi as their candidate in the last 2023 election. They know that Edo is a very strong force. And of course, we have a lot of comrades who will push your agenda And of course, they will do it on social media without fear or favor of anybody. Whoever wants to feel hurt, they don't care. As far as this is the candidate they believe in, they will make sure that that candidate gets their votes. And of course, they did that at the polls. They showed their full support. And now, I think they've now devised a mechanism to threaten him not to come to Edo State. I think
it's more like a threat, if you ask me. Yeah. Because he went for that to say that if the former Labour Party presidential candidate did not tell him before getting to the state, he should take whatever thing that happens to him, during the visit. And this actually, at this point in time, some persons actually frowned at that particular statement, saying that why will a sitting governor who takes in billions or maybe millions of naira as a security vote still come out open to say that the state is not going to, or the state is not secured enough for certain individuals to visit? Are we seeing people now politicizing the security or insecurity we're having in Nigeria? Is it what this actually is going to look like, or is it what it's beginning to look like? In Edo State, for crying out loud, Peter wanted to reach out to people when he heard about the carnage to happen actually in the state. He wanted to go visit people who are in IDP camps, and then the sitting governor, he was nowhere to be found. He tried all he could to get across to High Santalia, and he came up to say he should not come to the state, that he shouldn't come to politicize everything happening. Now, the thing is, for me, as a person, I believe that if every governor in the state will wake up to the call of their sole responsibility, which is taking care of lives and property, securing everything in the state, we won't have IDPs, we won't have people that want to go. There'll be nothing for anybody to, use as a manifesto during politics. There is nothing like that. But, you people are the ones still giving them the upper hand by saying, by letting loopholes occur or resurface in your state. Look at issue of insecurity. Poor people actually are still moving around, dying, begging and everything. The other day, it was FCT minister that says he wants to send back. He profile people, get beggars on the street, profile them and send them back to their states. Even in FCT too, things are actually hard. And we're having multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria, which everybody actually is crying foul about. But
yeah, I even came across a poll where a comedian honestly asked Nigerians to tell how they really feel, whether they're enjoying the government. People should not resort to foul language or so on and so forth. And 16% actually voted that they were doing well. And you could imagine, let me say, 16% out of 100, that's about 84% said that they are really not doing well. And of course, the 84% decided to pounce on the 16%. And stay late courses on the 60% that voted that they are doing well. That the way Nigeria looks, may it be upon them. It's really interesting. But Nigerians are really, really not happy. And of course, hunger is the name of the game. Even when you have the money, by the time you start calculating your expenses, you find out that the money has no value.
How can you say you have the money? Rotimi Amechi made Nigerians understand that if him as a two-term governor of a state, a minister, and a political elite and bigwig in Nigeria can come up to talk about the hardship, then how then will let's say, not just the talakawas now at this point in time, the people make it. Even the president who talked about his friend.
Yeah.
Stop driving.
Had to sell his vehicles.
I'm happy you understand it. So that shows times are really hard in Nigeria. But
anyway, moving to the tomorrow, where it looks at delegates at the National Constitutional Summit in Abuja, led by Emeka Anyaoku and convened by the eminent patrons of Nigeria, unanimously rejected the 1999 Constitution, calling it illegitimate and military imposed, and they urged INEC to conduct elections for a constituent assembly to draft a new people-driven constitution. And key proposals include true federalism, state police, power devolution, a unicameral legislature, and judiciary decentralization. Other reforms called for same-day elections, mandatory beavers, and e-transmission, independent candidacy, anti-defection enforcement, equitable security leadership rotation, and reaffirmation of Nigeria as a secular state. Wow. I think I'm really interested in the unicameral legislature because I don't think the legislators will want to have a one house. But it happens in, let me say, in the parliamentary system. Yeah, it's more like a one house. And as a student of government, I've always known that a bicameral legislature is bad for the economy in terms of you're going to be spending more taking care of these politicians, eating fat of the economy, and of course, these guys are in charge of signing the allowances and bonuses. Imagine you're in charge of where the money is coming from. You want to sign it to your favor. These guys are making a lot of money, and it's just like you are paying people and they are not delivering. Yeah, they are not delivering because the job description says you make laws, you make your constituents comfortable, but the job description is making myself comfortable, me and myself and my family, and I think a bicameral legislature is very, very expensive. We should go to one. Let it be one house, and one state should just have two heads that are working, not heads that will be threatening a Uber guy that I will make you disappear and so on and so forth. I think we don't want to see that. And having elections in one day, imagine it happened in the 2023 election. I know some people, they will be crying by now. Exactly. Yeah, imagine the election was done in one day. It would have been very, very interesting. Imagine a lot of governors would have lost their position.
Imagine the beavers working.
The beavers work, the transmission of the results in real time. Yeah, that would have been a lot because these are beautiful ideas. But under this dispensation of the APC, I think by the time they get a wind of what is going on with Anyaoku, because definitely Anyaoku is a man who is well respected.
Yes.
The discipline man, he has his CV is so glittering, very interesting. Someone who has traveled far and wide, and he understands what it means to make a good constitution. I think this is a good idea, but I just pray it will happen. But it is what it is.
Anyway, you're praying it to happen. Me too, I also pray it to happen. But the fact, or the point I'm looking at is anti-defection enforcement.
I think that
because here on this, you think it to be why?
You know, it's not going to
why
work.
Will it be struck
because
out?
Our politicians enjoy being a gentleman on the highway.
Oh, gentle.
Would I say moving from one place to the other? There's the word for it. I won't want to use it here.
If, for example, we have anti-defection enforcement in Nigeria, I believe it to bring normalcy to political platforms, political parties, because it's also going to create, a wonderful ideology tool for politicians. Because it's only in Nigeria, to start with, that you wake up and see people without ideology, political parties that have ideology, or rather they have their own modus operandi, it's just on papers, but when it gets implementation, it's not really there. You see someone today with the Democrats, tomorrow the person who's with the Progressives, next, it's more like they're just shifting grounds according to words who enter their pockets and all that. So
our politicians are polygamous.
There is nobody, or rather, I don't think, if we're to, conduct more like a poll now to check within the political space the way it is now, politicians who have not done multiple cross-carpeting. I don't think we really have anyone like that, because if is it that this person is a product of a merger, it will be that the person actually is a product of a coalition or a movement, moving from one party to another. And it pains me the most to understand that most of those people actually defect when they have actually, or when they've been voted in by a particular political party. They woke up to cite that, Nigerian constitution actually, they say push it down. I, for once, I'll support that. I will support it. Because if you change the constitution well, you find out that each clause must have a loophole for the persons who are committing or casting out that particular infringement for them to escape from it.
Yeah.
Imagine when you're talking about electoral acts that we signed into law electoral bill that was signed into act in 2020, in 2022, before the election. I think it was in 2020 first, before 2022 and all that. Now, you find out that some people actually will tell you that you can defect if your party is having internal wrangling. Now, how do you now define that internal wrangling? We're yet to get to it. Yeah. And then you find out that people are having the multiple defection. But all the same, again, people have been calling for the 1999 constitution that was amended to be pulled out entirely, saying that it's illegitimate and that it was the military that imposed this on Nigeria. If, for example, we have to have INEC to call for this, the election of Constituent Assembly, and every other person to come have a referendum or decide on what we want, what is going to work for Nigeria. Is it democracy? Is it something else that's not democracy? Then I think it's going to be a good one. But like we said, we're waiting for that actually to happen. Yeah. You're still watching The Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. I would have said let's go on a quick break, but we're pressed for time. So without wasting much time, We're moving over to the review of the national dailies, taking a quick peek on them and also touching on them. And we have with us in the studio Mr. Peter Anosik, a seasoned author and also a political affairs analyst. Good morning, Mr. Anosik. Good to have you joined.
I would like us to correct it. It's Dr. Peter Anosik, please. Oh. Yes, let's just address it properly. So
Dr.
we know
Peter
what we are doing.
Exactly.
Right.
Good to have you joined today's conversation. Oh, congratulations, Doctor. All right, talking about the national dailies, I have the Saturday Vanguard with me here, and but the headline reads, Cabal exploited Buhari's weak moment to smuggle in memos. That's coming from Gambari. The banner headline reads, Constitutional Review, Nigerians propose a single 6-year tenure for president, governors. Right after that, to avoid the use of public funds for re-election campaigns, disruption of governance. Governor Babaloto P2B, don't ever come to Edo State without my clearance. That's Saturday Vanguard. All right, don't ever come to Edo State without my clearance. You have no right to do so. CUPP replies, Governor. Tinubu appoints IBB's son as chairman of Bank of Agriculture. Health. Breakthrough eye test. Use AI to predict heart attacks. Strokes 10 years in advance. First Nigerian in space. I traveled in diapers holding alligator pepper and bitter cola. That's coming from Owolabi Sali. Kanu. Courts to rule on motion to stop trial, October 10. Those are the stories you'll find on the cover page of the Saturday Vanguard.
Yeah, very interesting Saturday Vanguard. Let's go now to the Saturday Punch, where definitely bold there. Inside £3,500 per day, elite London clinic where Buhari died. Wow. Hospital boasts modern equipment, 900 doctors, treats over 120,000 patients yearly. NMA, MDCAN, and NARD talking about that. Condemn leaders' lavish medical tourism. Wow, very interesting. Of course, on top of that, we have Awujale opted for Muslim burial to avoid ritual killings. This one is coming from Chief Imam. And following up to that, it's painful. Awujale dined with traditionalists but chose Muslim burial. The chief priest definitely not really happy with the comments of the Chief Imam. Okay. All right. On top of that, this one says, I regret dating a married man, Esther Wanchuku. Okay. I wish her the best. Okay. And on that, there's 150 billion naira presidential jet returns from South Africa after refurbishment. Wow. Okay. And then this one says, online spell market where spiritualists prey on love seekers. And still with that, the Punch on Saturday, where imagine best among 7,000 candidates reward for my resilience. First class law graduates. And of course, under that, APC kicks as ADC accuses Tinubu of politicizing Buhari's debt. And under that, Eco Atlantic land hit 2 billion naira per plot. That's a report. 2 billion naira per plot.
Interesting. And up next is the Guardian Weekend, and the window headlines reads, fears as Ibadan Ile-Ife Road remains death trap despite repairs. We need amendment to our laws to tackle illicit financial flows. The banner headline, lean yield frustrates dairy industry's desire to meet high local demand. And then we have the more like a cartoon, to explain that, where we have the big fat cow and someone that's actually doing the milking and the cup too. And beneath that, 2027, Southwest governors urged to endorse Tinubu. FG begins 10 billion naira Asorok solar power project as national grid challenges persist. I'll take that again for emphasis sake. FG begins 10 billion naira Asorok solar power project as national grid, and these challenges persist. Alleged 29 billion naira fraud, Buhari's death scuttles as ex-governor Yako Please begin. PCNGI debunks pulling down list of approved conversion centers from his website. And the bottom strip headline, who will cry when our leaders die? That's a question there.
Who will cry when our leaders die? Okay, and going to Saturday Tribune, now, Tribune newspaper says the very big one, big headline there, Nigerians say enough to flawed federation, flawed constitution. That's at the National Summit. Okay, and on top of that, let's go to articles. Resignation neither a surprise nor a threat coming from the PDP. And FIRS lament revenue loss via NDA's negligence. And still following up to that, without a restructured security system, Nigeria risks becoming Sudan. Colonel Tony Niam, I know that the federal government will be pleased. Okay, going under the big headline, does Makinde wife installed as Are Omoluabi, Yeye Are Omoluabi of Akure Kingdom. Okay, why the title there? And bandits kill 6, abduct more than 100 in Zamfara. Wow, like this is a business now. Kidnapping. Okay, it is 175.75 million naira NRDF grant to diversify our economy. Okay, that's it on the Saturday Tribune. And I want to take it to Dr. Peter Anosik. How would you react? Take a look at the Saturday papers from the Tribune to the Guardian, the Punch. Definitely a lot of interesting stories lined up there, and so much.
I want to start with the Vanguard on what your governor, your uncle,
It's not my dog.
said to Peter Obi. So I want it to be on record that whatever happens to Peter Obi,
Yes.
Obebona should be held responsible.
Yes.
What Obebona is doing is declaring a war that will consume him. It is within Peter Obi's right to go to any part of the country that he desires. He's not a wanted person. He's not a criminal. So there's no reason why he will first of all call I'm the governor, I'm coming to Edo, which means even exposing his own security. Understand me? Peter Obi is not the only presidential candidate in the country. Why focus on him? So I want it to be on record that whatever happened to Peter Obi, Monday, whatever is his name, should be held responsible. Understand?
Okay.
But don't you think that, the statement of Mohamed Bobolo actually is for Peter Obi's safety and his own, security? Because he said something about the state, he might not really be able to account for his safety if he didn't tell him he was coming into the state first.
What if he calls and the governor they refused to?
It's not the first time it's happening. It happened when he wanted to visit Benue State, decided to reach out to Hyacinth Alea, and Hyacinth actually did not take the call. He decided not to let him. He's saying that he wouldn't want the people of Benue State to be used for, politicking and all that. So I think it's right actually to decide to pick the call or not to pick the call. So, but now we're looking at safety of the young man. Don't you think actually telling the governor of the state he's coming in actually is something that he should do?
For me, saying whatever happened to him, that coming to his own state, that it is a risk. That's a very dangerous statement.
You know that Obi is a public figure to start with. And not just that, Obi looks more like he is a force moving. Most of Nigerians, especially the youth, want to align with him. And then him moving around, going to states, don't you think actually that might be exposing himself too without telling the governor so that he will give him enough security personnel to, help him out?
All the time he'll be coming to Edo State. As the Pueblo be protecting him.
So you want your enemy to give you security?
Yeah.
But Obi did not say, they are not, I don't think they are enemies at this point in time.
They have a different political party.
So
Does that make them enemies? Sharing different ideology?
Our politicians are enemies.
This is a sign of jittery. Understand me? These governors are jittery. The Oni of Ife describe Obi as a tsunami. Understand? So they are jittery because everywhere Obi goes, people go. Understand me? So he doesn't want what happened in 2023 that will happen in 2027. Understand? So that is that. So on record, whatever happens to Peter Obi, Monday or governor should be held responsible. Then on 7.1 million naira per day and treatment. So this simply shows you that God is superpower. Understand? This simply shows you that God is superpower. Even if you go to where you'll be paying 1 billion a day, once God says it's over for you, no doctor can stop it. Understand? So before Femi Adesina was telling Nigerians that it was friends that we are paying for Buhari's children's school fees. So now, who is now paying 7.1 million naira a day for him in a hospital?
Maybe it's the same friends.
Apart from friends, actually, we know that the presidents, they are entitled to certain allowance even when they are no longer in office. So we don't know how much these allowances are. So you don't think that actually will be able to.
Then why should people be paying his students' school fees?
Out of their own magnanimity, showing love to someone who have actually been there. You don't think so? Reaching out to, being a good friend to a father figure, because that is what some persons have actually come up to call him, even when they were penning down their tributes.
So that's the two issues.
Buhari told us also that the money, the dollars we saw Ganduje putting in his pocket too, was being given to him by the Chinese out of their own magnanimity. So don't you think that that's, more like reaching out to people too in good ways at this point in time could be the reason people have decided to pay school fees for people? Emefiele told us that good meaning Nigerians bought him the 150 million naira form for the presidential bid in APC and so many other persons at this point in time.
Well, for me, whatever hospitals anybody goes, once God says it's over, it's over. No doctor can save the other person. So this is what our leaders should have at the back of their mind.
I wanted to get your opinion on this one just in 30 seconds. What we're getting from the Guardian weekend today, that lean yield frustrates dairy industry's desire to meet high local demand. What do you have to say about this, over the fact that we're having the cattle rustling, the farmer header clashes and all that, And yet we've not really come to a conclusion or a consensus to say that this is what we're doing with the cattle that we have.
If a cow can travel on foot from Kanu to Lagos, what do you expect? It's almost finished. It's almost exhausted. So the cows that they are using for milk in Canada, in New Zealand, stay at their ranch. Understand? If you go to Enyako's farm in Adamawa, the cows are like SUVs, very huge. Understand me? Because they are there, they don't walk from one point to the other. So even if it's a human being, you cannot get anything from that.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anosik, for helping us to, X-ray and analyze the weekend national dailies. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at the first topic of the conversation, which is we are working to bring back Peter Obi for the 2027 election, as he is a great asset, and this actually is coming from PDP chieftain. Do well to stay with us.
Ago, we lit the spark. Today, we are blazing the trail for others to follow. VOP Media is free. 3 years of breaking boundaries. 3 years of being that bold voice that echoes the thoughts of the people. 3 years of telling stories that matter.
We have experienced complete breakdown in democratic governance.
We are not just a brand, we are a movement, giving voice to the voiceless.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To every viewer, every voice, and everyone that has made us who we are, we say thank you. VOP Media. 3 years and still counting. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Back is still the morning buzz on Voice of the People television. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it is actively trying to bring Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, back into its ranks. Speaking on Arise Television, PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi described Obi as a great capital for any party, praising his ability to secure over 6 million votes despite massive rigging and systemic frustration during the election. Abdullahi noted that Obi's exit was a major loss for the PDP, but emphasized that internal constitutions are ongoing to reunite the party and strengthen the opposition ahead of 2027. Meanwhile, the party has declared its intention to expel the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, over alleged anti-party actions. We have with us in the studio Dr. Peter Anosik, Voice of the People television, in-house analyst, and also joining us from Benin is Comrade Ibrahim Momo, who is a lecturer and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning once again, Dr.
Thank
Peter.
you for having me.
Good to have you join this morning, boss. Good morning, Comrade Momo. All right, good to have you join today's conversation, if you can hear me.
Okay.
All right, let's bring it to the studio. We'll have Dr. Peter Anosik standing by already. Now, Doctor, what do you make of this particular speech by Abdullahi talking about the internal constitution already underway for them to unite and also bring in Peter Obi join the PDP once again, as they believe that they will have a formidable force to, fight out the APC in 2027 election?
Those who are entertaining this idea are Peter Obi's enemies. They are working for Bonda Ahmed Tinubu because there's I don't know that I cannot be exact. They say that either that the Satan is working looking for who to steal whatever. Understand me? So that's what they are doing because they just want to make it easy for Tinubu in 2027. Because the only way, one, I have said it on this program that the PDP is a broken down vehicle that will not be repaired until 2027.
But don't you think that with the exit of the likes of Atiku Abubakar, whom some party chieftain have come up to say he's selfish, and then maybe he does not really, in fact, PDP today said it also that they don't care about his exit, that it really meant nothing to them. And also the language, or rather the statement from Abdullahi, that they are also plans to, push out the FCT minister over the fact that he committed or he's committing anti-party activities. Don't you think that can actually bring normalcy to PDP? And also, if the likes of Peter Obi is to go back there, he will, have the ticket, because the likes of Wike said, zone your ticket to the south, no matter whatever thing you're doing.
You cannot defeat Tinubu in 2027 without a coalition. So what these people are trying to do is to separate, since Atiku has moved, let them bring in Peter Obi so that they will go on individual basis. That's what happens in 2023 will happen in 2027. So Peter Obi should be part of the coalition. Peter Obi should join ADC. Peter Obi should leave Labour Party, shouldn't listen to PDP, but join ADC. Join hands with Atiku and others, so that 2027 will have a different face in Aso Rock.
If you say he should join ADC, Mr. Peter Anosik,
Is it about joining ADC? Because he has already declared that he's part of the coalition.
Well, he's not part of the party yet. He's still with LP.
He said he's part of the coalition. Yeah, and that already shows that he supports the coalition. He has been attending their meetings. That is clearly stated. Let's not get that wrong.
But there's a difference between coalition and merger. That's one thing actually we still need to understand.
Anambra, Peter Obi went to campaign for the Labour Party governorship candidate, George.
He says he's still a part of the Labour Party.
Yeah, he said he's still with the Labour Party.
So what Atiku has shown
open.
This is where I am.
This is where I am.
So that's what I expect it to be to do.
Now, talking about him moving to ADC at this point in time, we also learned that, you know, the quest, or rather the tussle for the presidential candidate under ADC is already ongoing. And then people who are supporting Peter Obi, or rather the Obi movement, who largely gave him the 6 million vote he got in 2022 general election, we have the opinion that if he eventually goes into any coalition and become a second person, more like going to deputize anyone, that they are not going to support him. And we know that the likes of Atiku Abubakar say he's still vying for that particular position, number one person in Nigeria. Now, what do you think will happen? Is it him joining the ADC, the coalition at this point in time, or being given the ticket, the presidential ticket to run? What do you think will make the 6 million votes still be there with him?
The only way Peter Obi will get ADC ticket is if Atiku say, I'm not running.
Is that going to happen? Do you think if that, no, do you think that will happen?
That is the only way that Peter Obi will get ADC presidential ticket. Once Atiku is running, there's what is known as right of first refusal in politics. This is a right, that a privilege that is given to the highest political office holder. And right now, Atiku has that, being a former vice president. So there's no way Atiku will step down for Peter Obi. And whoever is saying that if Peter Obi becomes vice presidential candidate for Atiku, he will not vote for Peter Obi, is working for Bola Tinubu. I want to make a repeat of it. Whoever says that if Peter Obi becomes vice to Atiku, he will not vote for Peter Obi, is working for
That is what the obedient movement actually are saying. Remember that the 6 million votes that Peter Obi actually had
are obedient movement.
Okay, so if Peter Obi is to go in now to the ADC, and also, you know, from the look of things, or after the whole primaries, it turned out to be the vice presidential candidate of that party.
I will vote for him. My family will vote for him. I'll campaign for them.
On what basis are you going to do that, please? Why will you do it? Like, if I'm to ask, on what basis? Remember that the Southeasterners have been talking about their marginalization. They have been clamoring for them to also have. Now, when you talk about this whole thing,
excuse me, let us be.
But bring it to the table, Dr. Peter Anosik.
It is the Southwest that marginalized them.
The Southwest marginalized the Southwest.
It's the Southwest.
So, and you don't think it's high time for them to be liberated, or rather, for whatever thing is it that they've been clamoring for to be given to them at this point in time?
Some people are just being emotional without having a sense of history. Between 1999 and 2007, a Southwesterner, in the person of Olusegun Obasanjo, was the president. Understand me? Between 2009 to 2015, someone from Southsouth, in the person of Goodluck Jonathan, was the president, remaining only one geopolitical zone in the south, that's the southeast. So when in 2023, power was supposed to come to the southeast, somebody from the southwest, understand me, took that power. So now people are telling us that the South should unite. We must not unite. Understand me? I'll campaign for Atiku Obi, with Atiku as the president, Peter Obi as the vice president, provided that Tinubu is booted out of office.
But your calculation will also mean that the North will now be ruling for another, looking forward to another 8 years. Because what
we should even be talking about is the competence of the person in power. Because if it's somebody from Niger that is our president and Nigerians are feeling well, I don't care.
Really? What about the sovereignty of the nation? Because, for instance, we didn't care. That is why they said Jonathan should leave. And we saw the result in 8 years. The economy has plundered. A lot of people are running out of the country and so on and so forth. Are we going to take that risk once again? Because now, are we saying Atiku is a saint all of a sudden? Atiku is now the Messiah? Because if he has someone like Peter Obi in his ticket, all of a sudden, we will now see him as the next big thing, as the Barack Obama, as somebody who is going to change the country. Are we not taking another risk just because we want change? Should we be like that? Because I think we all spoke to David the other time. Nigerians' intellectual capacity to forget, for instance, you're talking about competence. Is Atiku really that competent? Because he has cases of corruption against him. He has cases of favoring his friends and colleagues in politics, which is similar to what we're seeing in the current dispensation, where the politicians are living fat, are living happy, at the expense of the masses. Are we going to have another system of government like that again under Atiku? Because it's one thing to say we want change, but who are we changing to?
Well, anything will be better than what we have now.
Anything is risky.
Anything
should be risky.
Better than what we have now. Look, before 2020, Americans are not interested on who is their president. Understand me? Americans are not interested on who is their president until George Bush came in and began to mess up their economy. That's when, who is that guy? Understand me? Who is causing this? Understand? So if a competent person is in power, Jerry, you wouldn't mind if that person stays there for 20 years.
All right, let's bring
competence, underline competence. Competent person. Okay?
Let's bring in Mr. Dele Fanimo, seasoned reporter and VOP TV in-house analyst. Let's bring him join today's conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, Fina.
Good to have you join today's morning, Boris.
Good friend, Dr. Anosik.
Good morning.
You've been listening to the conversation thus far, and then this particular call is coming from Abdullahi saying that P2P is a great asset. So they need P2P to come back to PDP for them to be able to have or form a formidable force to take out this particular administration in 2027 election. What do you have to say about that? Over the fact that Mr. Peter Anosik here said something about going for competence, and he said that he is going to vote in someone who we know happens to be the vice president of Nigeria for 2 terms. And then, you know, the principal who happens to have him, or rather who he worked under, wrote a particular book and, you know, called some person some name. And they are actually a loggerhead over monies being meant for Nigerian success, how it's been misused and all that.
I listened briefly to my very good friend. His submission was basically out of anger and not the usual Dr. Peter Anosik that I know. He would always talk about merit, but in this instance, he jettisoned merit on the altar of certain things that I understand he feels. Yes, he should feel so rightly, but then you don't cut the nose to spite the face. And as a matter of fact, I'm even amused because I'm not shocked. I know in his deepest heart of heart, he knows that it stands for something else than what he's postulating this morning. So for the viewers, please excuse my very good friend. Let us now go into the details of the questions you asked. Honestly, if wishes were us, I would have loved a Peter Obi standing alone to contest this election, and probably there's still time for him to extend his arms of fellowship beyond the Niger. Because I know, and I'm beginning to see a kind of conspiracy theory around all these things that is happening. I'm sure that he's beginning to see that they want to subsume him in this new party, ADC, for the benefit of those who want to use him to achieve their end and later dump him. So I'm not surprised that suddenly PDP, that has become a pariah party, is now extending hands of fellowship to him. Up until now, nobody is contesting anything about the hierarchy of PDP. Nobody is contesting about the structures of PDP. Nobody is saying, and it was a grave error on the part of Atiku to have left PDP and make a show of it, that is no longer a member of it. So technically, the major problem of PDP, which has continued to assail PDP since the last election, that made Wike become a monster, has been resolved with the ouster of Atiku from PDP. And don't forget, PDP has governors that are still standing. So if those governors, if one of them, like Bala Ahmed, comes up and there is a kind of arrangement that will prop up Peter Obi and probably Bala Ahmed, it will resonate more in the ears of the Northerners than an Atiku. So, and I'm sure that for them to reach out to Peter Obi, having not shown clearly that he has left Labour Party, I think there is a new game. And I've always said it from day one that ADC was propped up by these shenanigans, that the sole aim of ADC is to prop up Atiku. Because till Dan Kingdom come, until he breathes his last, Atiku believes that he has a place to occupy in Aso Rock. And he will sidestep anybody. I've not seen anybody with the war chest that Atiku is bringing to ADC that will want to confront Atiku during primaries of ADC. But besides that, ADC is on a quicksand. Because somebody was saying yesterday on this program that it is APC that is giving problems in ADC. I said, why not? This is a game of number, and this is a game of who wins and who loses. And if you have it, if you attempt defense and it's not working for you, what do you go for? You go for attack. The important thing is the end game. The end justifies the means. Yeah. So if APC is tormenting ADC and using the remnants of ADC that were almost comatose to now fight this behemoth that suddenly landed and perched on ADC, you can't stop APC. More so, they have not gone to court to challenge ADC. They have not gone to the street to box APC. This is political strategy, and you cannot blame APC for doing what it's doing. Why don't they also infiltrate APC since they are coming from APC? What stops them from infiltrating APC and destabilizing APC before the next election? It's still the game, and nobody can hold anybody back.
You know,
playing that kind of game.
When you're talking, Mr. Fanimo, you said something about, if wishes were horses, that you would have loved Peter Obi to run alone without any coalition.
Yes.
But also some persons have said that...
I said he can run on the ticket of PDP, which is already a dominant party.
But some persons have also said that PDP
how would his
is
obedient movement see him?
See him as what?
Yeah, moving. He left PDP to Labour, to the coalition.
See, let me tell you.
Going to the PDP.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
They didn't consider that when he moved from ABGA to PDP and Labour Party. So is it now that they're going to... The important thing is what is carrying and what is bringing to the table should be the focus. Not for the fact that he has left. Show me a person. Show me a person in this political... All these people, they are just changing clothes, but the skin is still the same.
But Peter Obi not bigger than what PDP has to offer.
Exactly, because I need to know how viable is PDP at this point in time.
Is it not be a bigger product? Because right now, PDP,
let me tell you, this ADC, I can tell you for free. And if you check through sometimes it may not resonate well, but if you check through my postulation, you will discover that at least 95% of them, it would always come to pass.
So when
the point is, a PDP outside of Atiku can rise from the ashes of what is going on now.
What of Wike? Who also
Wike will shoot his sword.
No, but
let me tell you, why Wike will shoot his sword.
Okay.
PDP Wike was strategically positioned to decimate Atiku in PDP. And he is also aggrieved for the fact that he changed the ghost post in 2022. So now, after winning battles, what else? Is it not for the spoil of office? Now he has won by chasing Atiku out of PDP. So who else does he want to fight in PDP?
So you don't think
he
that
has his structures.
You don't think
PDP.
that if Peter Obi should come back to PDP at this point in time, that
Has
Wike
Wike ever fought with Obi?
But you know, that was what actually transpired in 2020.
Was it not the same Wike that was hugging Peter Obi prior to the 2023 election, showing him support ahead of the election? What not happen?
Until when they say zone the ticket, when they say zone the ticket to the Southsouth, they said make it open.
We don't know what happened. It was massive rigging in Rivers State in favor of the APC.
I've never seen Wike go for Obi's Jugula.
You don't have to do that. At least Judas still kissed Jesus when he was arrested.
I've not seen
with a kiss.
Yeah, with a kiss. He betrayed you with a kiss. So what is stopping Wike from doing that?
What I'm saying is, the way you are looking at Wike was given a script to act.
Yeah.
And part of the script was to run out Atiku. And technically has run him out of PDP. Now he's battling at ADC.
Mr. Fanimo, we saw him having a handshake with Julius Abure. Does it mean that it's only Atiku that was his mission? Are we sure that him and Abure too? Because the handshake and the picture shows that he has a hand in all of whatever is happening.
Abure is another ball game.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the Abure angle to it.
Okay.
Abure, what APC set out to do is to make sure they destabilize parties, which is part of politicking.
Definitely.
Because if you don't have a nest, you won't rest. And that is what they are doing. I've always said it, when Abure was shouting, I said Abure was not shouting for nothing. Initially, they felt they could use Akwankpa, but Akwa lost out in a Labour Party. So the next target will be Abure. But what I'm telling you is that the most viable option, if Obi will want to still carry through his ambition and whatever he has in his bags, and also show Nigerians that he can do it, it's not going to be in APC.
No, do you think that PDP as a party at this point in time, can push out the likes of Nyesom Wike? Because what Abdullahi is talking about today, he said that meanwhile the party has declared intention in pushing out the FCT minister Nyesom Wike for anti-party activities. And you know within yourself that when Nyesom Wike was there, he has been so braggadocious about how he bought forms for governors and some other persons too in that party. When some persons who happened to be member of PDP were chilling somewhere in Saudi Arabia, he was the only one that kept the party buzzing, financially and otherwise. Can Wike be pushed out of PDP?
Let me tell you, if there is a formidable force coming into PDP, it is clear that regardless of Wike's influence and money, that party can push through. Nobody's too big.
So who is that formidable force, if we were to ask?
We're just talking about.
You think Peter Obi is a formidable force? But Peter Obi
left PDP.
Peter Obi left PDP, because of the fact that the party, according to the party during the 2020 election did not do the needful based on zoning or sticking to it that they are zoning their ticket to the Southeast. And that was what made the likes of Atiku Abubakar to say, if it is not going to go to Southeast, then I will come back. And then that was how he came in and he picked over the ticket.
Atiku didn't instigate that.
How can Atiku instigate it when Atiku already said I'm going to step back?
Atiku, let me tell you, when this ADC was formed, the very day that it was declared, I told you that the man that instigated all these things is still coming. A week after, he came, and he came forcefully. And when you people are doubting that if he's just coming there to make sure that the party becomes formidable, he told you that he's still interested in the ticket of the party. What does that tell you? Jonathan wouldn't have been deputy governor to Alamisia if there was an agreement among those people that were pushed forward.
It's like you have a different thing to say, Mr.
I just want you to answer
something. That's the teacher, don't teach us nonsense. Understand me? That's word. So then it's trying to teach Nigerians nonsense.
That's uncharitable of me.
Then it's trying to.
You shouldn't have used that word, nonsense.
Then it's trying to teach.
I think
but he's entitled to his opinion, Dr.
As I'm also interested.
You're entitled to your
opinion. He wants to
apologize
on my behalf.
I want Peter to withdraw that statement. Nonsense.
And my people don't do that. Go and check where I come from.
I don't care
where I not cowards. We are not cowards.
This is a media house.
Exactly.
And this is a marketplace of
ideas.
So I am not going to allow you to talk until you withdraw that nonsense statement.
Unless you
It's not
want to
good.
stop-
It's not good for the optics.
Unless
in the
you
media.
want to stop this program.
No, but that
which
no,
I'm
no,
very-
no,
He
no,
hasn't
no,
got
no.
into
The
that.
thing is, it has not got to
I think
that place.
what we'll do, let's pipe low, let's take things easy.
Exactly.
And of course, let's go back to the focus. And of course, Dr. Anosik, I think we want to apologize to Mr. Delefa anymore. Not to be offended, let's just take things easy so that we can go into the optics. Because right now we're talking about politicians. Let's not bring ourselves, because I'm not Peter Obi. I am definitely not going to benefit directly from these guys
Neither
if they
am I,
become
Atiku, PDP member.
if Atiku becomes president today, if he might not even remember us. Let's just go to the optics, because we are all looking for the interest of this country. Because if this country is better today, my children will benefit, because it will look like I came on this platform, use this opportunity to speak truth to power and say things the way they are, the way I see it. So let's look at the future of this country and take our own personal issues aside.
So I'm from Omwahi Beku. That's where Nnamdi Kanu comes from. That's where Aguirre comes from. We are not cowards. And we don't go back on our words. Understand me? So the issue is this.
So technically, what you are going to say now is likely to be nonsense.
We can, yes, yes. So Wike has a mission in PDP, to destroy PDP and make it easy for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Junior Sabure is being paid to destroy Labour Party and make it easy for Tinubu in 2027. That's why I said that, Jerry, we have been doing all this program over and over. And more than 4 months ago, I've been shouting, if Atiku want to contest, he must leave PDP. If Peter Obi want to contest, he must leave Labour Party. Because Tinubu has hijacked these two parties. So now, in PDP, the Anyanwu, who is the current General Secretary of PDP, is a Nyesom Wike's person. Mind you, in Anambra, the Labour Party governorship candidate, George Morgan, is from the Abure faction, from INEC. Understand me? So if Peter Obi wants to run in Labour Party, mind you, INEC don't recognize his own faction. At the end of the day, Abure will bring up a presidential candidate, and they will recognize that one and kick Peter Obi out. Now, Atiku remaining in PDP, where the secretary Anyanwu is recognized by INEC. Why should Atiku be there? The only option is for Atiku to move and for Peter Obi to move, and not into PDP by Peter Obi. If Peter Obi joins PDP today, he has destroyed himself. Understand me?
All right.
He has destroyed himself. So, but in 2027, Atiku and Peter Obi are going to run in ADC.
All right, let's wait. It's 2025.
And that's the best choice that they can make.
All right, that's Dr. Anosik's best choice. He says Nigerians can make. And of course, settling all of that, let's go back to the next conversation. Definitely, official record says that 66% of inmates in Nigerian prisons are waiting trial. We'll take a quick break. We'll take a look at that on the Morning Bus.
In Latin, the people's voice is the voice of God. So keep watching Voice of the People. In fact, my name is Voice of the People. Keep watching MC Ado Pikin. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Kagan. I am Nigeria's biggest tech content creator, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Voice of the People TV. Keep watching, enjoy, and you're welcome.
My name is MC Alamano. The city call me Enjoyment Landlord. It's VOP TV. Keep watching VOP TV. Don't touch it down. Even if you want to touch it down, increase the volume. If you don't increase the volume, why told me? My name is Collins Agawabe, popularly known as No Maiden, but last, more than No Maiden. Or more. Not be also the cook right at the fry plantain. We keep on watching VOP TV. Hey, the voice of the people, the voice of Edo
If una want to get the authentic news for Edo the way it be, that's why they show and they want to cut anything come on. A VOP TV.
Hi, welcome back. You're still watching the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People television, and lots to look forward to this time around. And of course, as of July 14, 2025, official records show that out of 81,950 inmates in Nigerian correctional facilities, 53,795, that's about 66%, are still awaiting trial. The Nigerian Correctional Service data, reviewed by Sahara reporters, reveals that only 28,155 have been convicted. Of those awaiting trial, 52,378 are male and 1,417 female. The high number of detainees without conviction has sparked outrage, especially following cases like that of Gospel Wibari, as arrested at age 14 and released after 18 years without trial. Other Nigerians, including a school proprietor and a youth leader, have also remained in custody for years without court charges, prompting renewed calls for urgent judicial reform, that should be the word. And we still have Dr. Peter Anosik, Voice of the People analyst with us, and of course, Mr. Dele Fanimo, VOP TV's in-house analyst. And talking about the issues of awaiting trial, this has been a recurrent issue, because I hope that in 10 years' time, we will not be talking about people in prison still awaiting trial. What is the endemic? What is so used to our system when it comes to people being in prison, awaiting trial for years? Why is it so? Because who arrests those people and put them in prison in the first place? What is wrong with our justice system that it looks like it's rocket science to have a situation where people are in prison because they've been convicted?
You see, it's very simple. It starts with the police. There was this skit some years back of a young girl, I think at that time maybe 9 or 10. You know, it was the amusement part that we took in, but the lesson of that joke was lost on everybody. That lady said, in America, if you commit a crime, police will investigate you until when he has gotten all the facts, and then they will now say you are under arrest. And that is why they will use it that you are under arrest. Whatever you say now will be used against you in the court of law. That means at that moment, whatever you say is an addition to whatever is in that file. You know, say in China, if you commit a crime, they will chase you. They will not leave you until you are caught. Everybody was laughing. And he now came to Nigeria. And she said, in Nigeria, they just look around, bundle everybody up, and begin to ask you, which crime have you committed? What is the crime you have committed?
What did you do?
What did you do?
Wow.
And that thing just came to my mind when you were talking about this. It is exactly the situation. And it's also the exact situation even at the level of EFCC. Somebody will just accuse a governor, a president, a local government chairman, and without going into it, they will pick the chairman and then they will sit him down. Without presenting any facts. We learned that 1.3 trillion is missing in a Delta account. Can you explain to us how you spent it? It doesn't make any sense. And you recall that somebody, Iburi, was tried over 131 count charge. He was left off the hook in Nigeria. They picked him outside this country with just 13 charges. And by the third appearance, he pleaded guilty because the lawyer advised him that, look, the longer you stay on this case, the more your years of conviction. Because technically you are spending British government's resources over a case that you know you actually committed an offense. That was why he got a lighter sentence of 9 years. Now, coming back to your question straight, most of these people that are awaiting trial in our various prisons, they are there either because they offended a big man who wants to punish them at all costs, or police just want to nail somebody so that they can close the case. I remember when my colleague was killed by Owu in The Guardian. After that was the major quarrel I had with Frank Uba when he was Lagos State PRO. PPRO. Do you know what happened? They told us, they announced to us, and we were so happy in The Guardian. I was deputy news editor. They said, we have caught the people that killed Bayo Owu. We were so excited. But when we got to, is it Apoyibo? Apoyibo was the commissioner of police. When we got to the police headquarters at Ikeja, I was in suit, so they thought I was a lawyer. They didn't know that I came for that particular case. In the waiting room of the commissioner of police, I saw policemen briefing the suspects in case when journalists come around, when they want to ask you questions, this is what you will say, this is what you will say. And my news editor then, Sonia Agbapori, wanted to talk. He was annoyed. I said, are you not investigating this case? Just wait. Do you know that they tutored them, unknown to them that they were tutoring them in the face of somebody who was very close to Bayo when he was alive? So the commissioner came in. Meanwhile, before the commissioner came in, a friend that had known as an inspector, now CSP, was head of monitoring unit. At that time, he's now retired. He retired as assistant commissioner, Bashiru Kendi. Now, as soon as they were about ushering the CP in, lo and behold, I saw Kendi. Kendi saw me. We embraced. I said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm the OC monitoring. I said, I'm a journalist, you know, that I work with The Guardian now. Immediately the settings just scattered. So we sat. Apoyibo didn't understand the message at all. And he started reeling out how they caught them, what they did, and all that. I said, So when it was question and answer time, I said, you said you took off from so point, and you are supposed to go to Egbeda, and then somebody left Ikorodu, first came to you at Lagos Island, before you proceeded to go and commit robbery. The other guys, as soon as I started asking them questions, one of them said, I am an armed robber, but they tell me we should come and arrest this case. That's why we are here. That in this case, I don't know anything about it. And I said, Mr. CP, Bayo's wife is still alive. The landlady of Bayo is still alive. Who saw these men and they gave a vivid description of these men. These 5 suspects were parading. None of them looks like the persons they mentioned. Did you invite the landlady of Bayo to come and identify these people? He couldn't say anything. Now, the wife of Bayo, did you bring her face to face with these people? Said no. I said, besides, this phone and laptop you are parading, that is you said belongs to Bayo. Did you bring the wife? At least the wife will know the phone the husband uses, and the laptop the husband uses. I said, we sit together in the office. Is the next table to my table in an open office. So I know Bayo's laptop, we took loan, cooperative loan, to buy this identical HP. But this is not HP. That was how the okay. Then it flared up. The CP flared up. Say, the case has built up. Now you want to spoil it. I just stood up. My colleague, that meanwhile, as we were talking, Frank Uba had positioned our junior colleague. I don't want to mention his name now. You know him. To go and give us money. So when we got to the office, the guy brought money. I said, hey, do you know that this money you want to take is blood money? So I will betray Bayo because he's dead. When you know that these are not the killers of Bayo. I said, if Frank fails to call us in the next 2 hours that you have returned the money to him, you will be sacked today, not tomorrow. That is just an example. That's how innocent people suffer. And when they know that they don't have any prima facie case against that innocent person, they won't allow him to appear in court. And that person will rot in jail. Another case, again, is the fact that, do you know that they do prisoner swap in our correctional centers?
That's an indictment on the
I am telling you this.
Prison correctional system.
I am telling you this. And I have facts. Big men convicted. Even area boys walk into the prison if there is that opportunity. He will serve 2 years, come back to his 2 million naira. The system is corrupt.
Now that
didn't you read recently that a convicted person was taken to immigration office to procure passport?
Yeah, we saw that news.
Delta.
Yeah.
Armed robber.
Go and rob and
you
come
go
back
and
to
rob.
prison.
Somebody who has been convicted, condemned, will be released to go and rob and then bring the proceeds to the prison.
Now, what's okay is really eating deep into our system over the fact that people who committed maybe felony, as the case may be, are now being awaiting trial for like 10, 20, 15 years without anybody reminding them. More like spending above the years that they would have spent if they had been tried.
Been convicted.
Exactly. So how are we going to, come out of this particular menace? Dr. Anosik.
Well, for me, it's a kind of, everybody is focusing on INEC, reform INEC. Judiciary should also be reformed because one, for poor people that are arrested who cannot afford a legal representative, the state usually have
counsel for them.
Legal aids.
Yeah.
Understand me?
Legal aid counsel.
Yes, that can go and stand for them. But again, those inmates, the warders, or I don't know what or they are being called now, but I don't like that word, correctional center. It's a prison. No correction is going on inside there.
No.
So it is also to the advantage. Somebody told me that when he was in detention, he told the warden, please go and call my people, let them come and bury me. Or the warden asked him, who will replace you if you go? Do you understand that? Who will replace you if you go? If all of you live at the prison, which means I'll lose my job. You see it? Which means they are happy that the prison is congested. Understand? Because they are also making money from there. So the issue is this. One, the judicial system needs to be overhauled. And again, our police need to be doing an investigation before arresting a suspect. Because the reason why they don't take them to court is that they don't have strong evidence against them. And a lot of them, or the judge might scold them. You don't have anything strong against this person. You are here to waste my time. Understand? So that's why they are always afraid of taking these people to the court. And okay, there's one thing now that the police is doing. You are not supposed to stay in the police station that's over the weekend.
Even more than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
we have a law in Nigeria still with the constitution that says that you can keep a suspect beyond the 24 hours for proper investigation.
No, you have to go to court.
You have to go to court.
Which sometimes
detention
actually
order.
we know that sometimes it doesn't really get to that. Sometimes too, when you talk about that, you'll be accused of trying to obstruct investigation in Nigerian police if that should actually come up.
So what I'm trying to say now, they say once you stay beyond 24 hours, nobody has come to bail you. They will take you to the prison yard. Understand me? And this is going on a daily basis. You see one policeman having 20, 30 case files. How can he cope? So that is because putting all these people there is also helping in corruption, because the Minister of Interior will have billions of naira to get. That's on the budget. I have 2 million people in prisons, and their feeding is so and so.
Yes.
Okay, let's bring in a comrade Ibrahim Momo join this conversation. He joined us from Benin in Edo State. Good morning, comrade Ibrahim.
Good morning.
Good to
Quite
have
a very interesting conversation going on.
Thank you so much for being part of today's Morning Buzz. Now, let's get your opinion on this particular report. We're getting that 66% of inmates who have in Nigerian correctional facility are still awaiting trial. Even as we learned that the IGP promises to help the correctional facilities to decongest the prison. We also have a report that says I think 7,500 inmates were freed just because they want to decongest the Nigerian correctional centers. Can you hear me, comrade? All right, I guess we're having network glitch, okay. Let's bring it back to the city. Now, Mr. Fanny, we're looking at a way to end this issue of awaiting trial to the point that the people, 66%, that shows over half of the number of people we have in our correctional facilities at this point in time are people still on awaiting trial. Some people have even stayed there for like 10 years and all that. But we have a report about how 7,500 inmates were being freed, just because they want to decongest the correctional facilities at this point in time. So do you think that actually is a way to go, given the fact that, we've seen people being granted executive pardon? For example, in Kano State, it got to a time when the governor of the state granted pardon to, the persons that people can identify to be, these are highway robbers. These are, when we're talking about people that when they move, the community will know that they are there, but they grant them pardon instead of allowing them to serve out their jail terms and all that.
You see, the way to decongest the prison is very simple. One, there should be a regime of suspended sentence. What that means is, technically, you are convicted. But because the society can still manage you for an offense that is just a misdemeanor, and the judge, in his or her own wisdom, realizes that that offense was committed in error. But because the law does not recognize error, now the judge is compelled to convict. But you have that conviction hanging on you, but you are still within the society and you will be closely monitored. The day you misbehave and commit another crime, that is the day you now serve full sentence. It is done elsewhere in the world. Second, if you commit an offense that does not fall under felony, like maybe affray, disturbing public peace, assault that does not occasion harm, all those minor offenses.
Cyberbullying.
No.
It's a criminal case in some places, and in some others not.
Cyberbullying cannot be categorized as misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why. Because if you bully somebody to the extent that that person got depressed and he commits suicide, you have committed murder by implication.
Exactly.
So that's why it won't be regarded as misdemeanor. Now, you can see that through this way, you can begin to see that about 20% of those in this awaiting trial mix are either those who committed. Can you imagine when they have abrogated the law of wandering? More than 30 years ago, police still uses it. They will say because they saw you under bridge Ikeja at 1 a.m. They don't even want to find out why. Maybe the bus you are traveling with from the east or from the north broke down, and the man had to come to that point at that hour, and he will not take you to the park. He will drop you at the nearest bus stop. Then police picks you up and say you are arrested for wandering, and before you know it, from court, and they will not even take the pains to find out if you have friends or family members around, or lawyer. Then and the judge, you can't blame the judge. Once you present a case, the judge will look at the merit of the case. He was not there when that crime was committed. So on the face value of whatever the police present, they will say, okay, remand him in custody or grant him a bail of 50,000. When you know that there is nobody to even stand surety for you at that moment, and that person finds himself in prison. At the end of the day, the next date of adjournment, they say there is no vehicle to convey that convict to court, that suspect, accused person to court, and then on and on until that case is put on KIV. But they didn't realize that at that point, that KIV is not the file, but the life of somebody is being put on hold perpetually. Look at a 14-year-old. Obviously, that 14-year-old will probably be in secondary school at that time. His mates are now working, having graduated from university. Some of his mates are now married with children. Now, where is he going to start from? And in a society where there is so much stigma,
of ex-convicts and all that, name calling.
Even when you are not convicted, the fact that you walk through the jailhouse and come back, the assumption is a prisoner. And so nobody wants to touch you. And now you are coming back to a society that is so hostile that they don't want to touch anybody that had gone to Kirikiri or anywhere. Even when it is not your fault to find yourself in Kirikiri. Now that guy spent 18 years of his youthful life just because of one mistake or deliberate action. Look at somebody, because at the point of being arrested, the police said, go and bring 200,000. A peasant farmer parent. Where would that person get 200? And because 3 people committed an offense of stealing and conspiracy to steal, one couldn't pay 200. That one was arraigned in court. The other 2, having paid 200, left off the hook. Already, you have destroyed the evidence against the person in prison. And because they don't have evidence against that person in prison, they would rather keep him perpetually in prison. So, what we are saying is, technically, there should be a regular visit by judges, not just this ceremonial thing, October 1st, Democracy Day, free 10 prisoner, 20 prisoner. That's not the whole idea. There should be constant review of cases. There are some prisoners that are not even well documented, still awaiting trial in the prisons. The only reason why that thing is at that figure, do you know why? NGOs, religious organizations, visit prisons to intercede on behalf of some of these people. Otherwise, by now, you would be counting 250,000 inmates.
All right.
Rotting in jail.
And it's not that even the prison conditions are even okay. Because I was seeing testimonies of those, how they feed in prison. It's pretty a very worrisome sight.
You know, there are 3 categories of prisoners in that place. Wow. they are awaiting trial. Those ones are like subhuman. They don't even, to the prison warder or whoever, they don't even consider them as human beings. So if they drop there, it's like a mechanic workshop. If a spanner drops, it picks another one. Then you now have the convicted ones. Those convicted ones, they still have time around the prison to walk around because they know that they have a terminal date within which they will be released. Then you now have the condemned ones.
They are going nowhere.
That, or those sentenced to life in prison.
Sentenced to life in prison and people on
So
death
they are
row.
permanently warders until they die without wearing uniforms. Those ones, they even enjoy more than they are waiting trial.
Okay.
Yes.
They go nowhere, so
they feed them better.
Someday?
So that they'll be alive.
But now let's get Comrade Ibrahim Momo's opinion, you know, on this, because I wanted him to tell us how he feel about all this happening. Also, how Nigerians are now even suggesting that the year for the awaiting trial should be limited. You know, some are saying maybe let it not be more than 5 years. Let's not be more than.
Why should it be more than 5 years?
Let's not be. You know, so many
more than 3 months?
things. People are even talking about.
Awaiting trial should be more than 1 week.
Let's get your opinion. Let's get your opinion on this particular one, Comrade Ibrahim Momo.
Okay, very well. The first thing I would like to say is that our correctional services and the personnel that work there, they are not aliens. They are not non-Nigerians. You do not expect that in a country where majority of or a very good number of Nigerians have or exhibit certain character sets. You expect that the correctional services and the personnel that work there will be different from the character set of the society that they are from. So the point I'm making is that sometimes it is just a reflection of the larger society that we are. That's what we are seeing. And all these issues we are raising around correctional services, they should not be surprising to us, knowing that this is a reflection of the larger society that we belong to. Secondly is that beyond the fact that there are cases of malfeasance or irregularities in the way these criminals, whether they are convicted, awaiting trial, or condemned, are being handled by the Nigerian state and Nigerian institutions in the Nigerian state, we should also accept on our own that as a state, as a country, we are not doing the best. It is not the personnel, because the pivoting on the personnel of the Nigerian Correctional Services, it takes away attention from the core issues. Core issue number one is that how far are we on the road of alternative dispute resolution, alternative legal, settlement of issues? It's not everything or that is every charge that should end up in the court. It shouldn't be. Sometimes I've seen the police officer, for example, they do a kind of mediation among warring parties. People right there in the police stations. It doesn't have to get to court. It doesn't have to get to a waiting trial or whatever. At times these issues are misdemeanors. Issues that can be resolved. But sometimes we allow it to go the full hog. It is not the correctional services that's on the starting point. The police services, for example, some of these issues are managed from there, and then they are now referred to the court, who now remand them in custody. So it's a change. If we can resolve the entire value system and take ownership, sometimes it's okay to blame one police officer or one correctional service officer or one judge, whereas the Nigerian state broadly is culpable in the challenges that we are highlighting. So I think that we all, analysts, journalists, citizens, should take ownership of the fact that these challenges are Nigerian in the first instance and they are global. It is not all, why I say it's global is that it's not only in Nigeria that we see all these infractions taking place. We have seen them happen in the UK. UK is not Nigeria. We have seen similar incidents occur even in the UK. So we are saying that some of these issues are just an idea of the society, what's happening in the society. Secondly, second point I have made is that It's not every case that need to go through the full org. We can as well look at the ADR mechanism and exploit more. Why, for example, can't we?
All right, I guess we lost communications with you, Comrade Ibrahim Momo. I can't hear you again. If you can hear me, we'd like you to unmute your device for proper communication. Can you hear me, Comrade Momo? All right, I believe the technical team will look into that.
Sorry, let me quickly mention this.
Okay.
You don't have, it's not as if I'm oblivious of the fact that there is this ADR existing, and some states had replicated it in their laws, but criminal cases are not
Have they changed it?
subject to ADR, and most of these prisoners got there as a result of
where do we place embezzlement of public funds at this point in time? Where do we place embezzlement
if
of
you are
public
caught
funds?
embezzling
Abuse
state
of
funds,
office and all that.
if you are caught embezzling money, it's a criminal offense.
So then, why is it that in Nigeria, to start with, you now see out that the people who sometimes go out for this out-of-court settlement turn out to be the big wigs? Because they are the ones most times that will actually champion this after they must have received the plea bargain, and then next to that, people are looking out to now be settlement out of court. We see that happen a lot in Nigeria.
You see,
because at this point in time, even the former JAMA is talking about
the National Assembly, which is the rest house, particularly Senate, of ex-governors that are still having cases hanging on their neck, decided on their own in the floor of the Senate. That's why I say it is the National Assembly that is our problem. They decided to insert plea bargain into the law because they know that it will get to their turn someday. And Nigerians were so docile to allow them put it in the law. So that's what they are exploiting now. But plea bargain does not affect other criminal offenses. Yeah. It's only when, there was a time somebody said they should give him plea bargain, Evans, after killing people.
Yeah. Because I didn't know something to x-ray that too.
It became a laughable matter. That the court threw it away because it doesn't apply.
But yeah, terrorists in Nigeria who have killed even our military personnel who are being reintegrated back into the society
that one is another matter.
And all that. But we have to x-ray everything that has to do with Nigeria.
That's another matter entirely.
Okay, let's get your concluding thoughts, Comrade Ibrahim. If you're back again, let's get your concluding thought maybe in 30 seconds because we're pressed for time.
Okay, I think that we can do much better as a state, as the Nigerian state, by ensuring that the correctional services become reformative, correctional, not just a place to beat time.
It's a network issue.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Ibrahim Momo, for your line of thought there. We sincerely appreciate it. Even though we didn't get, the last thing you said during your submission. Let's get a concluding thought, Dr. Peter Anosik.
Well, for me, there should be a reform and constant visits of the judges to these correctional centers. And again, because, an instance, or the 14-year-old, the boy that was arrested at 14,
now 32,
is a juvenile and cannot go to
the regular court.
Understand me? He shouldn't be there. So it's because everything in Nigeria is being mismanaged. So there should be an overhaul of the justice system in the country.
Thank you so much. Mr. Delefanimo, let's get your concluding thoughts.
For misdemeanor offenses, there should be suspended sentence.
Okay.
And parole should also apply. Prerogative of mercy should be done based on merit, not based on certain primordial sentiments that will further escalate tension within the community. Because a known robber, a known killer, that the community now rests and sleep with their two eyes closed, suddenly resurrecting in that community because he was granted prerogative of mercy, is a danger to that community. We have seen criminals that were released on that premise and went back to that community and killed people that he assumed either gave evidence against him in court or the people that he actually arrested him. So judges, governors should eschew emotional and sentimental reasoning when they want to give such privilege.
Thank you so much, Mr. Delefanimo, for your concluding thoughts. We sincerely appreciate. We've been speaking with Dr. Peter Anosik, VOP TV in-house political analyst, and Mr. Delefanimo, citizen reporter, and also VOP TV in-house analyst. And we're able to touch ground or base in our Benin studios. We have Comrade Ibrahim Momo, a lecturer and also a political commentator. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of today's Morning Buzz. Right. I will go on a quick break and we'll come back. The trends will be up next.
3 years ago, we lit the spark. Today, we are blazing the trail for others to follow. VOP Media is free. 3 years of breaking boundaries. 3 years of being that bold voice that echoes the thoughts of the people. 3 years of telling stories that matter.
We have experienced complete breakdown in democratic governance.
We are not just a brand, we are a movement, giving voice to the voiceless.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To every viewer, every voice, and everyone that has made us who we are, we say thank you. VOP Media, 3 years and still counting. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. It's still the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People television. A top U.S. tech executive, Andy Bryan, has gone viral after a surprise appearance on the Kiss Cam with his company's HR chief, Kristen Cabot, during a Coldplay concert in Boston. The two both executives at the data firm Astronomer were seen hugging before quickly pulling apart as the camera zoomed in. Cabot covered her face while Bryan ducked his head, prompting laughter from the audience. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin added to the moment with a cheeky comment saying either they are having an affair or they are just very shy. The footage, which was shared on TikTok and other social media platforms, has since garnered millions of views and sparked waves of speculation online. Social media users quickly accused the pair of being involved in an extramarital affairs, with many pointing out that Bryan's wife appears to have dropped his last name from her profile. Neither Bryan nor Cabot has publicly addressed the incident as the video continues to trend. You know, when I watched this particular video, I couldn't, you know, as first when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, wonderful couple. You know, the way they were hugging themselves, you know, frolicking and all that. I was like, okay, I love this. And boom, when the camera zoomed in, it was more like to your tent to Israel. The man had to duck his head, and then the lady turned the other way. And you know, I was a bit surprised. But when I saw people's reaction and comments, people were saying, "What is happening? Is it any? I don't know, proud of themselves? What is really happening? Is someone actually stealing someone's? You know?" But from what we're getting at this point in time, none of them actually have come up to react to that particular video. But if this happens to be, you know, will I say, a boss and subordinate relationship that they were displaying on that Kiss Cam that zoomed in on them, I want to ask their partners, you know, what are they really doing? The position, I am not playing any, I'm not, I like, seriously speak, I believe I've been of the opinion that we should call a spade where we see something like this. And not just that too, there should be how do I say it now? I don't want it to sound a bit offensive. There's a limit to everything. There's a limit to the affection I will show you as a worker, as a colleague, as a subordinate, and there's also a limit to how I will relate with you in a workspace, in a picnic, in a gathering, to avoid story that touches. Respect is. You say no, what? No, what?
The thing is that he said hug. That's no hug. It was from behind. Oga was caressing. He was caressing the boobs.
The hands were somewhere.
He was caressing boobs. This is not. He was not hugging her. He was caressing her boobs from the behind.
And they say this is HR versus boss relationship.
So let's not sugarcoat it. It's not hug. And the fact that they had to do it publicly, thinking that they will get away with it.
Who knows how long this must have been playing out? That was the question someone asked.
The confidence for that man to go that far.
Because the chemistry.
Yeah, the confidence for him to go that far in public. Because he believed that it will not get to the wife. It shows that the man has been doing it. He has seen it all.
But that place actually is a public gathering. It's a public gathering.
Public gathering is different from public gathering. Public gathering in the sense that he knows nothing will bring his wife or anybody that knows his wife.
And people might take pictures, you know that. What if someone actually is there to take a selfie and boom, you're there and I post the video?
They've taken their affair to a bold level that they believe that they can do what they like.
Are you sensing rat here? Are you smelling rat here?
Yeah.
But the thing there is this: if you wake up to look at it the way we're looking at it, if we're to be in Africa, both maybe the girl's family will have returned the dowry back and say, "See, we don't do it."
Return which dowry? Do you know how much that man is worth? That man is worth lots of millions of dollars.
The wife have dropped the man's name from her own profile. We're not looking at money here. We're looking at the dignity.
He can drop from the profile, fine. But I know a divorce case will be prepared.
So you mean
on how she's going to squeeze that man?
Are you saying we should take money over dignity, money over sanity, money over what should be sacred, and we'll turn it out?
Let me now tell you, the woman now has nothing to lose because she knows that this man is now in the public. So what she will do now is to squeeze him to her satisfaction because evidence plenty. So what she will do, get my lawyer. Even if I'm going to be sad, this man has decided to disgrace himself in public. Let me squeeze him so that in his next life he will think very hard before you go and be caressing a woman in
public. That's the height of. But I just learned that we'll see how it goes. Comrade, let's get your opinion on this, please, Comrade Momo. What do you make of this particular video? From Chris Martin, when Coldplay frontman Chris Martin actually zoomed in and boom, had a comment on this one. What do you have to say about it, please? In 1 minute.
A couple of issues. One is that I think that it's a normal run of play in the middle of a match that they would zoom in on a couple. And apparently, at that material time, they were very cozy with each other. Secondly, the fact that it appears to be a workplace relationship, which is not very healthy for the workplace. And it is between a married couple, a married individual, and another person, which means that there's an issue of extramarital affairs. So there are a couple of things to unpack, in this particular incident. But what I don't find interesting is the amount of airplay, the amount of views, reviews on social media that it has received. As if, everybody bringing his own perspective. And now the woman, the wife at home, kind of is now feeling bad, now following her husband on socials, dropping the last name and that's it. So I think that the action may have been allowed to run too widely or too virally for my liking.
Caressing in public, running too widely, But anyway, this actually speaks more to some, bosses in office. Having extramarital affairs with their let's say their employees and all that, because what we're getting here actually happens to be the boss versus the HR chief. But I wish them well. I also pray that the people out there will actually learn from this to understand that you cannot continue hiding your evil for so long. It will still bust out. All right, it's still the morning boss. Thank you so much, Comrade Ibrahim Momo, for chiming in on this one. We sincerely appreciate it. Thank you for being part of today's morning boss.
All right, a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
I'm talking about celebration and all that. You just told me something now.
Yeah, Peter Anosik at 64 is trending right now.
Whoops, that's number one on TikTok, on Twitter.
Yeah, happy happy birthday to the man who made Nigerians believe again. Talking about Peter Obi at 64.
Are you speaking for Nigerians or speaking for yourself?
Who made Nigerians believe again?
For you or for Nigerians? You're
Who made Nigerians believe again that they can go and vote and be a part of the political system? A lot of people have lost faith already. There was apathy before the 2023 election. Well, at least I hope he achieves his aim in life and wish him all the best life has to offer. Talking about Peter Obi, happy birthday from me, and I don't know, from Fino too, and of course from all those who may.
I celebrate people. What the good book says, celebrate those who are celebrating,
so that they will
and also
celebrate
exactly.
too.
So is there a celebration? Yeah. All right, thank you so much. This is how we can go on today's Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. On behalf of the backroom staff, my wonderful colleague in the studio, Jerry at Delohai.
Yes,
I am Fina. Okay, Chico, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and also, like I always say, endeavor to be a patriotic citizen. Bye for now. Adios.